Greetings. Oh no, are we buffering again? It's showing that you're muted. Oh no, I hope this isn't on my end. I don't know what happened. Maybe sunspots. I don't know. I don't know if I'm the one that can be heard or if Sarah can be heard. But hopefully you guys can see us. I think it's just me now. So welcome to Astrology and Alchemy with Sarah and Matt. And I think she's having the tech issues tonight. Hello, guys. Well, you know, I think
I've never.
If anyone hasn't seen on my Facebook, when I was having issues, I was just doing the replay today. And when I was having issues where it froze, a third voice came in and said, help, which is really, really weird. So I don't know. Maybe we have spirits that are coming in trying to talk to us.
Right? Look at, do you see how weird things are happening?
Yeah, it is really weird. I was just sharing to them about how it froze. And it's so weird. Like I freeze. So it looks really weird because like you're talking and I'm like, look like I'm like asleep. I'm like, And also it unfreezes and my eyes open. And that's when that extra voice comes in and goes, help. It's really weird. If anyone that's on my Facebook, check it out. I posted it today. It's weird.
Well, and then here I am where they're like, we think it's Sarah. It's not. It's not. This is kind of a weird thing that I've never had happen either, which is kind of an interesting thing. But I don't put it past, of course, because as if I yell loudly into my electronics like that, like, hey, happy, like a connection or like a welcome, I have to be careful. Like I want to not get too excited around electronics and freak things out, right? Does anyone else have that issue? Is it just me and my strange paranoid ways? Right? It was fine earlier. But seriously, guys, I don't know if you guys have noticed or have been feeling it. Matt, have you been feeling it? This post full moon in Scorpio. That was yesterday, guys. We told you that you would feel it. It's still in that kind of shadow space, right? Where if you light a candle and keep it going from the dollar store, like a prayer candle, it would still be going. It's still going in that Scorpio space. Do you feel it? Does it drain you like it does me?
Yeah, no, I felt it. It's been the last like 48 hours have been kind of rough. So yeah, no, I get it. And totally as predicted, I had a weekend where I got about 3/4 of the way through it. I'm like, this is exactly what I said was going to happen. I had all these grand plans and I didn't get crap done.
You had all these grand plans and none of it got done. And it was really, I had two weird things that happened. One, yesterday I was talking to someone about, we were talking about Pinocchio, which is kind of strange because we were talking about all the different weird conspiracy theories and strange shifts, and that they were asking like predictions. And I was like, I don't even know how we got away with canceling all this stuff, the Oscars, this, that. And then Pinocchio is still just out there. I was like, that's still the creepiest, And then we got off topic about where does Pinocchio come from and like the history. Anyway, long story short, ended up being that today I wake up and all of the podcasts, like all of my favorite podcasts and people I listen to, I'm sitting there listening to it with my coffee and they're like, just the other day I was psychoanalyzing Pinocchio. And I was like, whoa, holy crap. Like it was one of those things where everything that I had been doing the day before was being mentioned. People were doing. And just kind of this like ripple of seeing things ripple out. It was kind of strange, but then also just exhausting, full moon stuff.
This story, and some of the folks probably saw this today, but my odd thing today was, so I have dreams with people that have passed. I have weird dreams all the time, but a couple months ago, I had a weird dream where somebody that passed came in and basically was giving me this pep talk that I got to focus and get a lot done because you still have a lot to do in this life. And basically, you have until April 27th, 20. I'll just say blank. I won't give the year, to get all your stuff done. So it just sticks in my head now. I'm going to be really cautious every April 20th. Well, particularly that year, but April 27th will now be like locked in my head of at least until that date passes. Just kind of freaky. Did you freeze again? I think she froze again. Yeah. This might be an interesting night. Now, I will keep chatting here until she unfreezes. So I do... Yeah, she's going to log back in. I do all the astrology aspects cold, so I don't have the list for the day. So I don't have them to start going through. But I will say we haven't really gotten into like bigger like personal aspects and things. But as we had mentioned,
I'm so glad that you are able to stay on the stream. Do you know how weird that is?
Well, it was weird that I was the one getting bumped last week. So this is just, it's weird.
Well, it's weird because anybody who might be familiar with StreamYard, I'm the one hosting the StreamYard session. So every time that it bumps me, it should, in essence, be bumping Matt, but it
Take the whole thing down. No, it likes me.
It likes you, but man, I wanted to hear that story. And I know I'd probably heard that story anyway, but about your birthday and the superstitions and these dreams about you dying. And like, I wanted to hear about it. And I was like, what's happening? And now I'm back. Man.
April 27th.
April 27th.
Blank.
Dang, got it.
No, I know that. I know the year. I just don't want to keep saying it.
Right? It's weird. Anyway,
it's not real far away. I don't. If it's real, I don't live to 90.
That's so strange. I've had psychics say I'm going to die when I'm 88, so I try not to worry. Consistently, it's always in a tornado. So hopefully that's the case, and it goes back and it happens fast. But anyway,
I have crazy longevity in my family. Like most people, like live to like they're in their 90s and they just drop dead. I would buck that trend if this was predicted. It's much younger than 90. Oh
no, don't do that. Well, I mean, that's weird.
I don't have any control over it. It's just it was a weird dream.
So weird. I have really weird apocalyptic dreams, and they're very militant. They're very like, I think I've shared some with you. They're like I'm driving away in the rearview mirror and I see an explosion and I know right when and where I'm at. So sometimes I'm like purposely trying to avoid that scenario. Like, don't look up, don't look in your rearview mirror, because I know that it will be similar to the vision that I've had in that dream. So I don't know if anybody also kind of one of those weird, like, prophetic witch OCD moments where it's like I get nervous recreating that dream as close to the dream that it can be, because I worry that that's going to be like it's going to be today. Do you have that with your dream? Do you like know what you look like in your dream? You know how about old you are? Do you look down at your body?
No, that's an issue. I never thought of that. I'm going to have to try to pitch it. As far as I know, no.
Maybe don't.
It's always like first person shooter type.
Oh yeah.
I guess everything. That's usually what they are. I mean, I may have had some where I could see myself, but no, it's usually like a first person shooter type.
Very omnipotent
viewpoint. Yeah, like if you know that video, if you ever picture like the video games where you're just seeing it through the eyes of the person, like that's how they are.
Like VR or Halo or something, or Counter-Strike. I don't know. I always look at my hands. That's kind of how I get an indication. And it weirds me out because sometimes I will occasionally look down at my hands, like if I'm doing dishes or drawing, like out and mom's hands, or notice that like I'm older based on my hands. It's kind of just a weird.
Well, Shelley mentions astral dreaming. I was going to say, and I shared this with you before, Sarah, that I have this, I can map it out. I have this whole like landscape, like universe where a lot of mine take place. It's very, very weird. Like I could like map out the whole place and I return there consistently. I mean, that's the other thing. I have lots of recurring dreams, and then lots of dreams happen in the same kind of like universe. So it's really odd. And it's like odd things because like one's like my hometown, and then like off my hometown is this big tree with like leaves on it, but it's all decorated like a huge tree that's got Christmas lights all over the top of it, and like this old like wagon with like the wagon wheel like underneath it. Like that's always there. It's like really weird like symbolism and stuff.
Very specific things.
Yeah, it's very, very detailed. I could like draw the inside of buildings, and like it's really, really detailed.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. We'll have to do a show on like Sunday Night Dead or something about dream analysis because
dreams would be cool.
Well, that's something that I think a lot of people have interest in. Obviously, everybody dreams. Not everybody remembers their dreams, but there's consistencies about dreams that I find very fascinating. And as far as like psychology goes, we do some classes about dreams, but I've just researched that as a hobby for so many years. I love talking about it. It's a fun concept. I mean, do we say concept? Topic. It's a fun topic. Anyway, all right, guys, that's how we do. We talk for 15 minutes before we get into it. We know you're here. We know you're here joining us every Tuesday. YouTube, now on the Paranormal channel. So welcome if you are joining us from there. But tomorrow it's going to be Wednesday. It's going to be Wednesday, April 28th. And Matt, are you ready to start analyzing what to expect from the next 7 days? Because we have not been, I hope my dog doesn't bark now. I was knocking on wood for superstition, but we've not been wrong. So hopefully this gives you guys some structure, foundation, and ability to kind of have that foresight that we as psychics do to understand what's going to be happening this week and use it to the best of your ability. But Wednesday, tomorrow.
Oh no. She froze.
Did I cut out?
No, there you go. You're back. You're back.
Okay. I'll be still. Don't move, Sarah. Don't get excited. Don't use loud voices. The moon will be in Scorpio. Still, we'll still be feeling it, but it'll be squaring off with Jupiter in Aquarius. Jupiter in Aquarius. What does that mean for you?
I saw a cool description today on square, which I like. I always kind of view it as like conflict, but another way to view it is, they're at like kind of like right angles. And so it's like you have to deal with it. So when I do my sentences, Scorpio's James Bond, kind of that introspective, secretive, kind of possessive, just, they got their own thing going and they're going to take care of themselves. But what you're seeing on the outside isn't necessarily what's cooking on the inside. The moon is emotion. So it's this kind of dark, emotional, like kind of like spy energy. Square. So you have to deal with. Jupiter is expansion. I always use Jupiter as a car comes pulling up and they roll down the window and they're like, come on in, we're going to, and where they're going to is the sign. So in this case, it's Aquarius, the purple mohawk, hippie rebellion. We're going to rebel against stuff. So this is emotional intensity, kind of this spy energy, very intense, having to deal with big expansions that could, or, big opportunities that could be kind of rebellious in nature and kind of going against the grain and big changes. So I would interpret this as it's a long way, but I'm doing my mental process for you all out there. There will be things going on in the world, opportunities and big changes going on in the world that will conflict with emotions and personal emotions. And so you won't feel really good about it. So there'll be changes going on in the world, opportunities for changes tomorrow that aren't going to really sit well with you emotionally. Be ready for it.
Aren't going to sit well. Like that.
Let me know, guys, if you can hear it. I got like every third word. Yes, Mary, in Scorpio energy. Yes, that is. That's my archetype is like the spy. So she's back.
I'm just not going to be able to do that, or either that, or we'll just play ping pong. Look, we'll just play ping pong. Am I back? Am I not back?
Weird. It's weird.
Am I back? Am I not back? Am I back? Can you hear me now? Does that date me? I shouldn't say that, should I? Can you hear me now? Internet.
Yeah, you're back. As long as you can hear me, you're back.
I can hear you.
So what's weird is
I never lose a connection. That's what's kind of funny. But anyway, we'll ride with it. We're riding with guys, hang in there. It's emotional. That full moon in Scorpio, it's an emotional space where, like you said, you may not don't always get what you want. It's one of those songs. You can't always get what you want. You get what you need. And Jupiter is there saying, yeah, I'll take whatever more it is. I kind of had mentioned to people, use this energy to do things to the fullest. If you're going to do something, try and do it to completion. If you're going to rest, just rest. Like whatever you're going to do, commit to it, because that Scorpio feeling will have you kind of not always feeling a certain way. And that is, of course, going to change or shift like the weather. So hang in there with that. And that's just tomorrow. That's Wednesday. So that's no big deal. Thursday, a little bit of a different energy. And when, of course, I'm looking at this as a social worker, or you're looking at it, somebody working in social services, I always get a little flag that goes up. Thursday, April 29th, Mercury in Taurus, sextile Neptune in Pisces.
We haven't had Neptune in a while now.
Right. And it's that Neptune in Pisces that always kind of triggers me a little bit. But when you hear Mercury in Taurus, sextile Neptune in Pisces, what are you thinking?
All right. So Mercury is communication and thought. So it's mental energy in Taurus. So again, this is the bull on the hill, kind of indulgent, but doesn't really want to move too much. So again, I kind of have this, stay home, watch Netflix. So indulgent, but kind of stable. Sextile is eliminating obstacles, is how I view it. And then Neptune is kind of this like dreams, aspirations, spirituality, could be real, could be fantasy. And its home sign of Pisces, which is, I view that as almost like deathbed perspective, very like, again, philosophical and kind of not hard to define, kind of foggy. So this is one where your thoughts and communications for indulgence, and this is probably why you triggered on your social worker thing, is going to align with your fantasy escape. Neptune can also be kind of like the substance abuse and escapism energy. And so if you want to just hang out and be indulgent, and that removes obstacles to escapism, I would view there's going to be a lot of substance abuse stuff going on Thursday. But even if it's substance abuse, there's going to be just indulgent. Thursday is going to be the day I ate a dozen donuts and I don't know why. It's going to be that kind of crap.
We're coming out of the super full moon is a peak time for hormone. Is this going to do this to me every time I talk? Let me know that you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay. But that peak time for hormones with the full moon, and the fact that women are menstruating usually. And so there's this crazy energy, and coming out of that space, it's that last big fight of the year, the big quarrel, the big going for the jugular and under the middle of the full moon, last snow of the spring, like spring fever. We, think of spring fever. That Thursday after the full moon, this is kind of that, like, you're going to be emotionally eating. Maybe you're going to be coming off of something that was like a binge of some kind. So that's that Neptune and Pisces. I think of delusion. You said indulgence, expressing yourself without words and feeling delusional and struggling to get your point across, because even though Mercury is in Taurus, and that's ultimately it can be a good thing. It's telepathic. It's about trying to understand, but the Neptune and Pisces, the water on water on water, I get nervous about that, because that's always an indication that somebody's going to be feeling some sort of way, and they're going to like overdose, or they're going to have a suicide attempt, or there's going to be something. It's usually those kind of things that I see, and I don't want any of that happening on Thursday. So we're going to be kind of watching out for those overindulgences and those self-expressions and those things that you want to kind of keep at bay. But Friday, we don't want to.
I would just add quick on that one too. It's whatever your go-to comfort thing is. that's kind of your vice, even if it's something small, but just like, I eat pretzels when I'm straight, you're going to have a real pull. There's going to be like this almost gravitational pull to do that on Thursday. So like if you had just recently like quit smoking or something, just be prepared because Thursday's going to be tough. There's just going to be this pull towards whatever your little vice is for comfort.
Yeah. People in the chat room are sharing like those days that you want to just be an escapist, play video games all day, maybe eat a tub of Ben and Jerry's. Says Mary, those days, those are yes. And we need to just be careful that we don't escape and, have an issue or a collateral damage, so to speak. Now Friday, I don't want to profile. That's a naughty word, Friday. But Friday is that day people go a little crazy. We haven't had crazy in a while, at least not in the news. So, of course, we are always hinging on expectation for it. And on Friday, this.
Oh, no, she walked up. All right, so I'll try to fill this until she comes back. And I did once when we did the blog talk, I did like fill like a 2-hour monologue by myself, so I can just add it up here. But so Taurus, Sun in Taurus conjunct Uranus in Taurus. So conjunct's one of the strongest. They're on top of each other. So I almost view it like those apps where you see faces, and they combine them. This is what your kid will look like. Or I used to go back to my college mascot, the centaur, where it's like half man, half horse. So you're combining the energies. So you got Sun, which is, your ego, your main core self, in Taurus, which is, again, bull on the hill, indulgent, stubborn, kind of stable. I don't want to do a whole lot, but I want to kind of indulge myself and just relax and have a good time. Combined with the energy of Uranus is that wild card. It's the rebellious energy. And this is a weird one. There's that weird combination where I was like, I'm going to rebel by like sitting on my couch and smoking lots of pot. It's the rebellious energy, but in the sign of Taurus, which is again indulgent. I don't want to do a whole lot. Taurus is kind of one of the, not that I'm saying Taurus people are lazy, but it's kind of this lazy energy of I just want to kind of indulge and stay put. So this is a weird one. You have your core self wanting to indulge and stay put, combined with rebellious energy wanting to kind of indulge and stay put. So much like, and this might have been why Sarah was saying people going crazy on Friday, much like we were saying on Thursday, you're going to have this gravitational pull. Friday is going to be, you're going to just have this pull to just indulge and break the rules and indulge. So this will be a bad day if you're on a diet. You're going to want to break those rules and go on a diet, or, whatever you have, it's going to be screw it. I deserve it. I had a rough week. I'm just going to go ahead and eat that whole half gallon of ice cream. Or, so yeah, very indulgent. I'm going to add too, while we're waiting for her to come back, because I don't have the other aspects for the rest of the week. When we talk about square, which is that kind of conflict energy you're having to deal with, we've been talking a lot of Taurus, and there's a lot of planets in Taurus right now. There's a lot of Taurus energy. So the signs that are square to Taurus are Leo and Aquarius. So if you are a Leo or Aquarius, or if you had lots of Leo or Aquarius in your chart, which you can go to like astro.com and plug in your birth data to find out, all the different planets and things in your chart. All this Taurus energy can feel kind of to you. So if you're feeling not really comfortable right now, that could be that reason. And when you really think about it, when I'm describing these signs, that square energy really, you can see how these would conflict with each other, because Leo is very much, spotlight. And I always, again, my stereotype for Leo is kind of Trump, even though he's not a Leo. Nothing's ever wrong, and look at me, and I want lots of attention. And, Leos are very generous, but they like the spotlight and they like to look good. And then Aquarius is that rebellious energy. Both of those don't sync real well with stable and indulgent. Stable and indulgent, staying home watching Netflix isn't a Leo energy. That's not going to put the spotlight on them. And staying home and indulgent isn't going to rebel against the whole system. So those energies are square Taurus. So Sarah, I was just explaining, if you can hear me or not, the whole square energy that if you have lots of Leo or Aquarius, you could be feeling kind of uncomfortable right now because those are the energies that are square. But when we get into the stereotypes and the details, you can see how those energies wouldn't necessarily sync personality wise.
Right. And I love it. And I'm so thankful for you, Matt. For those people, if you have ever done a podcast or had to work with the internet, you understand the joys of it. But having, the host that can just completely take over and go with it is so important. So thank you guys for whatever it is. I'm going to say solar flares because I'm not sure what's going on. It's kind of fickle and weird. But we want to stay focused and get through it so you guys can use this because I know so many of you listen and use this as a guide throughout the week. So as we continue, and Matt, gosh, thank you again, because I know I'm struggling, and obviously the technology is a mirror of that. So Friday, the sun is going to be in Taurus, and that's going to be conjunct Uranus in Taurus. Uranus, remember guys, something is going to be weird, and anytime it's sun moving, that's going to be bold.
It happened again. So again, going to think there's going to be this wanting to rebel energy and indulge, but it's just indulge. So I think it's going to be rebelling by breaking the rules to help you indulge. So this is going to be, just think, breaking diets. Again, this is not, we're just looking at this. This is not a good week to quit smoking. And that doesn't mean to stop if you're already a couple days into it, but there's just gonna be big pressure to kind of go against what the rules and things are and just indulge. So it's gonna be a very indulgent Friday. I have a feeling the bars and stuff are going to be kind of rough Friday with that.
We'll give it a shot. We'll hope it's not as bad as the internet connection.
It's kind of funny. We like tee you. There's a pattern here now. We tee you up, and then you get like one sentence in, and then you go away, and then I'm like trying to just interpret what you were going to say.
Maybe that's what we should do. Well, that's how we'll do it. We'll go into it and go, you know what, guys? Let's just play with the internet and see how far to let us get. Isn't it sad? I don't know what's going on. Anyway, thank you guys for your patience. Did we even get through Friday at this point, or can we get through Friday?
If you want to jump, unless people have other questions in there, I think I at least gave my view on it. Not that that's any better than your view, but since it crashed on you twice, maybe we just try to skip it and go back to it.
Leave Friday alone.
Whatever you're going to say, the universe does not want, or Big Brother, YouTube or something doesn't want you to say whatever you want to say.
Well, and that's what I'm wondering. Is it a Big Brother thing? Is it an alien thing? Because I was going to be mentioning as far as like astrological events going, astrological calendars, anything with 2021 and the weirdness of the solar flares and just kind of the shifts in Scorpio. And anytime that I say that, it just wants to get fickle with me. Anyway, I'm excited for May. And that's what, of course, we're going to be getting into on Saturday. So let's kick into Saturday before it shuts me down. So Saturday, the moon is going to be in Capricorn, and that's going to be trine the sun in Taurus.
Okay. So moon, again, emotions, your internal self, Capricorn, think success, think, again, that goat wanting to climb the mountains. So, I want to conquer things. I want to be successful in things. I also, ruled by Saturn, so very rules oriented. So this is going to be kind of a motivational, but maybe a little more internal motivational to succeed and push things. And trine is a nice harmonious energy. So it is trine the sun in Taurus. So again, we've hit Taurus. So indulgent, and not wanting to do a whole lot. So this is going to sound odd, but I'm a Capricorn, so I can relate to this. This is going to be wanting to achieve things that are stable and indulgent. So this is even like, I'm going to figure out the best way to like relax, and I'm going to relax and have a good time. Damn it, if I have to. So this could be people spending the weekend making like setting up hammocks or doing like, setting up little like retreat spaces and stuff. It's going to be, I'm going to achieve something that's going to help me be stable and relax and indulge.
Going to renovate the bathroom with that big old bathtub. You're going to do that long-term investment, spend the tax return on the thing that's going to make your life just a little bit easier. Yeah.
If you sell impulse type stuff, this could be a good day for you if you're selling on Saturday.
Or if you're investing. I've kind of been, there's a lot of talk in like cryptocurrency, watching certain things go up and down. I imagine things going up on Friday. After they've been at a steady down, I think they'll be going up starting into this May. It's going to be things like this, that moon in Capricorn, that sun in Taurus, feeling more stable, feeling more comfortable, and wanting to invest a little bit. And with everybody else feeling that way as well, that wave hopefully will take us into a little bit more of a financially stable space. And May looks, at least on Saturday, the 1st, like it's going to start strong and fun. So again, before we say too much, guys, because we don't want to say too much, because otherwise the internet freaks out. So what about Sunday the 2nd? So this coming Sunday, guys, May the 2nd, almost Star Wars Day. Mercury in Taurus, still Mercury in Taurus, sextile Pluto in Capricorn. And this is a big one, guys. Anytime Pluto moves or shifts, I'm always like, my ears are perked and I'm looking at the notes that we have made, because Pluto shifting is a life thing. Matt, when you think of Mercury in Taurus, sextile Pluto and Capricorn, what do we need to know?
Okay. First of all, I got to do my little disclaimer to everybody in the chat, since as we joke now that I'm not an a-hole. I just can't contribute into the chat. So hello to everybody. I'm not ignoring you. I can't type. So Pluto is the big. So if all the planets are different gears, I think I've used this one before. Like Pluto's like the really big gear. When that thing moves, it just shifts everything, and it's very impersonal. It's very profound. These are big, big changes, big, impersonal, huge, transformational crap. So in this case, we have Mercury. So again, thoughts and communication in Taurus. So thoughts and communication around stable, fixed, stubborn, indulgent. Sextile, so that's removing obstacles to big transformational changes in Capricorn, which is, again, success, achievement, kind of climbing that mountain. I want to get something done. So if you have thoughts, ideas, and communications about things you want to do that will be a little more indulgent and stable, the obstacles to do that will be removed, that you will be able to achieve your goals. So Sunday's a really good day to go after and get something done. That, if you're motivated to do something that's going to give you a little more stability in your life, or a little more pleasure in your life, and something's been standing in your way, that door may swing wide open on Sunday. So I envision Sunday being a really good day for folks. Boob
jobs, buying new cars. Like I see these things where people are investing in themselves in ways where they're feeling like it's a major upgrade that's going to be empowering, life-changing, if you will. And that is powerful. That is a bandwagon that, of all the kind of energies we've had lately, these solar flares and exhausting kind of pulls are going to start lifting over the next 4 weeks. Sunday, May 2nd is when we're going to start to kind of feel that and things getting to the heart of the matter, even if that's the song I hear, by the way. But also on Sunday, Mercury is going to slowly start shifting out of Taurus, and it officially goes into Gemini. So Mercury also goes into Gemini. When you think of Mercury going from Taurus to Gemini, what are you thinking of?
So it's funny, if anybody remembers back when we did the show, when I was saying about Mars and Aries, so it was like Aries squared. Now Mercury has 2 signs that it's the kind of ruler of, but Gemini is one of them. So Mercury is now in its home sign. So this is like Gemini energy squared. And so Gemini, I think of like the little like social butterfly. It's like flitting all around and talk, communication, and all over, and kind of just think of like external brains, somebody that's just going to brainstorm and tell you every kind of idea. And I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to, bounce all my ideas off of you. I'm going to think very externally. It's a very extroverted, talkative, can be flirtatious energy. And Mercury is already thoughts and communication in the sign of kind of thoughts and communication. So you're going to see a shift from I want to stay home and watch Netflix and just kind of sit and watch TV. You're going to see as all these things start shifting into Gemini, going to be very, very outgoing, very, very, we're going to bounce ideas off. You're going to see a lot more people probably going out and about. It's a social butterfly energy. So thoughts and communication in that kind of brainstorming and very extroverted, wanting to interact with other people.
Well, and I think about how if we have been waiting for, or you've been waiting for that collaboration email, that interview response, that follow-up email, that feedback from someone, that testimonial, those things in communication you've been waiting to hear back from, this is going to be when that happens, even though it's going to be Sunday, which is kind of weird because I wouldn't expect like formal things to be happening on a Sunday. But that also tells me that whatever formal things are happening on a Sunday, they'll be announced Monday morning. So, and if it's important enough, it'll of course be announced Sunday night, because we're also going to see into Sunday night, right into Monday morning. Sunday night, Jupiter shifts in Aquarius, kind of shimmies a little bit. So anything that's on our mind or attention is going to kind of get some finality as it goes with Mercury moving. Jupiter is squaring off in Aquarius. So you kind of just sprinkle that in there when you think of Jupiter and Aquarius. I know we've said it already twice, but what are you thinking as it relates to Mercury?
So again, do a modal sentence. So did you say it was square?
It's square.
So yeah, square is kind of tension and opposition that you have to deal with. So again, if Mercury is that social extroverted energy and Jupiter is the car pulling up saying, hop on in, we're going to go do this. So in this case, we have the car hopping in. We're going to do this rebellious kind of go against the grain energy. That's going to be in conflict to your extroverted, whatever you're thinking about, whatever you're brainstorming about. So this is almost like you have these wonderful ideas and you're talking and you're going around doing all these things. And then, somebody else is going to come pulling right up and go, well, yeah. Well, I think it should be this, and kind of hit you in the face with it. And it's all air. So it's Gemini's air, Aquarius is air. So lots of verbal sparring going on is what I see.
And knowing that this is going to be happening into the evening, it tells you kind of what to expect for Monday, guys. So this is what to expect for next Monday. This is us, we finish out this week. The solar flares allow us to continue. We get through the weekend, which is going to be pretty productive, refreshing, some good energies, a lot of good conversations to be had, not arguments, as opposed to what they've been this week. And then on the 3rd, that Monday, the sun, the light of the galaxy, the sun will be in Taurus. All right. Squaring off with, or perpendicular, because I like that you said that perpendicular 90-degree, Saturn in Aquarius.
Ooh.
Right? Something might be weighing on you, but you're going to need to break away from it and find room to breathe, is what the online horoscope says for that. But I know that there's a lot more to that with that Saturn in Aquarius. That's a big thing.
Yeah, some of these are odd in that, and we have two weird ones here because they're not very fast-moving planets. We have Saturn and Aquarius, which is kind of what I consider energy that doesn't link up very well, and the Uranus and Taurus. So you have kind of that rebellious with the Uranus and Taurus, the stable and indulgent. Saturn's, rules and restrictions, and Aquarius is kind of rebelling against. So I almost view Saturn in Aquarius as an opportunity to change the rules or rebel against the rules, kind of shift things up. And so if this one is, you have the sun in Taurus. So if you have the core, kind of your core self, your core energy in this nice, stable, indulgent space. So I kind of see it as, okay, I'm chilling, I'm having a good time, I'm feeling pretty indulgent. And what's going to come and smack me in the face, get in my way that I have to deal with it? Somebody's going to want to come in and change all the rules. So, I want to go lounge out by the pool, and somebody's going to come in and say that we can't do the pool. Nobody is allowed in the pool during the week. It's going to be, someone's going to change the rules. That's going to ruin your nice, indulgent, stable vibe.
Oh man, you're gonna have the vibe, and this is gonna what?
Oh no, your voice is starting to wobble. You're frozen again. So I'll just add up. Somebody else said, so I'll comment real quick. Somebody said that Scorpios don't get along with Geminis. It's not the greatest energy, but the signs that are square to Scorpio are the same. So Scorpio is opposite Taurus. So you have this kind of opposites attract. So they're different, but they complement each other really well. So the same ones that are square and kind of clash with Taurus are the same ones that are square and kind of clash with Scorpio. And so that would be Leo and Aquarius. So the big rule breaker, because again, Scorpio's they're like the James Bond type. They're going to tell you they're playing along with the rules while they're maybe behind the scenes changing all the rules and doing whatever they want. Whereas your Aquarius is, we're going to do the big protest and we're going to like smash all the rules and be very public and visible in doing it. And then the other one that would be 90 degrees would be Leo, which again, if Scorpio is very kind of private and operating in the shadows, Leo, which is ruled by the sun, is all about the spotlight and look at me, look at me, look at me. So I just wanted to answer that question on the which ones conflict.
Yeah.
So we're back.
Look at me, look at me, look at me. Look at me. Gosh, I'm doing my very best, guys. We're dancing the solar flare dance up here in the northern Minnesota ionosphere where the aurora borealis is bouncing off apparently the house and making it difficult for us to do anything, but that's okay. We're going to get through it. We will do this together. So next Monday, we're not only going to have that sun moving in Taurus squaring off with Saturn and Aquarius, but also a fourth quarter moon phase in Aquarius. And I know that might seem like a subtle thing, the moon just moving in another phase, but the fourth quarter in Aquarius, right before it kind of starts getting into the new space, this is important as well. So when you think of a fourth quarter moon in Aquarius, do you have anything to add into that space before we move into Taco Tuesday, a whole week from today?
I'm first of all, Dragons, thank you for the compliment there. Now, to be honest, Sarah knows a lot more about the moon and the moon phase astrology things than me. That hasn't been something that I've dove into a whole lot, but I'll at least say like, intuitively how I view it as, if we were looking at the cycle of the moon, the fourth quarter is kind of that waning energy, getting ready to rebuild. So kind of this last minute, last call, what are we going to do? And so the waning energy in the cycles, again, going to be in that kind of rebellious change space. So I'd almost take this as, before the door closes, is there anything you want to change before we lock everything down? And so whereas, Scorpio full moon, we were saying it's kind of like, give us your wish. It's kind of like the genie, but be careful how you word it because you might not get what you're asking. So be very, very careful. I view almost like the fourth quarter in Aquarius as in that same space. If you're wishing or wanting anything, last chance to lock anything else down.
It's a final countdown. Boo, 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 boo. That's what I kind of hear, that final countdown space and getting in your order. Yes, absolutely. And the fourth quarter for
myself, but I think of Regis Philbin. Is that your final answer? That's kind of like the fourth quarter. This is your final answer.
Yes. And it is though, but like for the Farmer's Almanac, that's hard to say 5 times fast. Getting those ideas of what it is you're going to do, those projects, everyone's going to be talking and launching, and you're going to feel like, shit, I didn't get it in time or something like that. That fourth quarter moon phase in Aquarius is going to feel like you need to talk it out or have it pulled out of you. And you're going to want to launch it and speak it and get it out into the air before it's too late. You're going to maybe even starting to feel pressure, like the siphon kind of pressure, like the tail end drafting kind of pressure. Just going with the momentum of air, so to speak. But then that's going to pull us into next Tuesday. So next Tuesday, a whole 7 days from now, you're going to continue to have your ears ring a little bit as the solar flares really ramp up. You're going to have that kind of vestibular nausea. You might be feeling kind of, oh, but you're going to feel more productive. And then on Tuesday, I will read it. The moon in Aquarius. Moon in Aquarius. Well, we know that already. But it's going to be conjunct Jupiter in Aquarius.
Cool. So we've done a lot of Jupiter. There's been a lot of Jupiter this week.
Right.
I was gonna ask, is this our last one? Or is there more? This is the last
No,
one?
this is the last one.
So we got a week without, and this is interesting because everybody always goes to like these things. We've gone a week without Venus or Mars.
I know.
There's
There's not going to be a whole lot of
no Venus, no Mars.
love or crazy, sensual.
This is going to be a romantically dry week for people, just so you know ahead of time, or at least romantically uneventful. But let's get back to Moon. So emotions, again, Aquarius. We've talked a lot about Aquarius. So it's that rebellious energy. Conjunct, we're combining with the car, the opportunity. Jupiter is all about expansion and opportunity. So you're going to have an expansion to rebel and change something. So you're emotionally going to want to make some big change, and it's probably going to cut against what the norms are. So it'll be kind of a little bit rebellious in nature, and that door is going to swing wide open, and you're going to have that opportunity to go ahead and do it. And conjunct is a very strong energy. So if you're thinking of doing something that kind of bends the rules or kind of goes against the norms, and you've been thinking about it, and you emotionally feel like you want to do it, that opportunity is going to come and land right in your lap on Tuesday.
Yeah. And you're going to probably end up doing it or want to do it. Or for those people who struggle to make decisions when it's just right there, you guys be aware that if you can see what this is for yourself or those around you, you're going to have a good indication of what goes down next Tuesday. So if things in your life are expanding or you're thinking of pursuing those new things, saying yes, being big, going bold, or, go home. That's going to probably come across your way on Tuesday. For me, I see it in some pretty clear opportunities, expansion, some growth. This is going to be work opportunities for people. This is going to be getting that news you wanted that's going to help kind of take you to the next step, that's what we all want, right? That's a good thing, something to look forward to. It's something to be excited about, celebratory, but we also know that there's a lot of, hot things going on in politics and in news, post-Oscar space. What do you think, just because I know we've got a few more minutes before we wrap up here, guys, looks like we'll get out of here a little early for the week, but because there's not too much stuff going on, but that's a good thing. But what would you say, Matt, is like your prophetic wrap up of this past week with all the stuff moving in Aquarius? What do you think is going to be going down this week?
Yeah, so that Jupiter, again, doing this off the top of my head, but there was a lot of references that had Jupiter in Aquarius, which is, again, opportunity to change rules and things. So I see on like a grand front, probably lots of proposals, maybe lots of things being done on the political front of changes and, maybe some big changes in how things are getting done. So I see that. And then maybe on a smaller front, I do see, I think Friday into Saturday, I guess it's Thursday into Friday, that whole like indulgent wild space. I think there's going to be a lot of weird like partying and stuff going on. I wouldn't be surprised if something bad makes the news from that too. Either, somebody overdosing or, somebody well-known or, something crazy happening in the news coming from somebody doing something crazy, like indulgent type stuff.
Indulgent things. Well, and I know that we have shared in the past, you do your show on Sunday Night Dead for the Paranormal channel, and Monday through Thursday I do No Man's Land, which is a little bit more political. And I kind of feel like this is going to be one of those, like you said, engagements, commitments. We just saw some recent laws passing, Second Amendment sanctuary states, but also laws passing around the protesters and protesters laws. And then, of course, right after that happened, we start seeing like headlines of people getting hit by cars or, pedestrians hit and And, that happens all the time. I hate to say that, but it's, the way that we're going to see it start, like that narrative's a little different. I'm not used to seeing the headlines of so-and-so hit by another car. And it's like, what? Like cars are, flying around like torpedoes or something. And they're not really, but
Right.
it just is kind of the perfect timing of following after other certain things. And when we think of the Aquarius, that's exactly when you were describing last week, that rules will be shifting. The way that we do things will be shifting. And quite literally, the way that we finding.
Oh no. I was going to add, we're waiting for her to come back, because she will come back. Yeah, even another one. Oh, go ahead. I think she's coming back.
No, I was going to say, of course, it'll kick me off when I say something like, traveling or things like that. All that.
Well,
stuff.
I saw one that I found interesting, not to side rail this, but I think it was Florida, where they passed like this riot law, which a riot can be 3 protesters, and then if you are actually like arrested, like you lose your voting rights. So it's a very interesting way to, and if this gets adopted widespread, this is a big way to basically shut down your First Amendment on both sides, because you think red state, blue state can both do the same thing. We just go ahead and claim your protest is now a riot, even if it's not. Again, you got to think slippery slope, take these things out, 10 steps. And now all of a sudden we have a whole block of motivated people on a certain issue that no longer can vote. Really dangerous slippery slope. And I think she froze again. But that's the kind I'll just go ahead and use. I mean, again, I'm not pontificating on like, that specific issue, but those are the kind of things when I see like both Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius, you have this opportunity to change rules, and then, changing the rules in the planet of making rules. So that's why you're seeing a lot. And that's really just been this last year where they're both in Aquarius. That's why you're seeing a lot of this whole protest and change things and cancel things. And that energy continues. Jupiter's going to shift soon, but it shifts into Pisces, which will be a very odd energy combined with Saturn still being in Aquarius. So it's still going to be weird, but it's going to be a little less. We're probably in the most, 2021 is going to be the most intense space for this whole, rebelling against rules and changing rules. We're going to change the whole way the game is played kind of energy. Pisces, again, is that much more like introspective and kind of foggy. So it's almost the opportunities it actually might be a little more disconcerting, because it's going to be, I think, kind of a gray. So after all this talk about changing the rules and how we're going to shift and change things, we're almost going to have an area where the opportunity, because Jupiter's opportunity, is not going to be really, really clear. So there's going to be probably about a year or so of just uncertainty along those lines. And then Saturn will move into Pisces, and then, rules and regulations will be very uncertain. So it'll be a very chaotic space going forward. But it's about a year, in the next year or so. I'm trying to think. The one that scares me, I don't want to get people too depressed, but the one that scares me, and I've talked to Sarah about this before too, is Pluto going into Aquarius, which is still a couple years out. But, remember that big gear. So in a couple of years, that big gear is going to move into rebellious space. And if you look at history at the times that Pluto was in Aquarius, there's always big, like upheaval stuff. And then we just happen to have a year later or so, Neptune's going to move into Aries, which is, again, that whole like dreams and all in fire and action. Screw it. We're just going to do it. And that's another one. You go back historically and look when Neptune is in Aries, bad stuff. Last time was Civil War, mid 1800s for Neptune and Aries. So you look at those two historically and have them both happen at the same time. And I look at that and I'm like, holy shit. But again, I was just filling with like macro scale, like planets and things.
Well, and I'm so proud of you, and I'm so glad. And I'm sitting there listening to you like, yes. Wishing that I could give my commentary, and I'm watching the chat and commenting as I kind of have these little blips. Cause again, I don't know what StreamYard is doing, cause every other tab is fine. And my internet says I'm fine. And then all of a sudden it's like, you're not fine. But people saying, gosh, has everyone just lost their common sense anymore? And I know this feeling of being pulled from a rational space. And if you look at again, if you look at the charts and you kind of play like a bingo card and you see everything tipping like a teeter-totter, you have yin and you have yang energy, like that, black and white kind of energies, but that's, reference to polarity, but everything shifting to Aquarius, everything moving to that, it might feel like things are quite irrational and that people aren't thinking or caring what you feel, or they're being strongly narcissistic or something like that. That would make sense. Actually, it would make perfect sense for the way things are moving. So I know that it's going to be a rather chillax week. However, I fully expect, like you had said, to see, if people are not careful, really subtle domino, like blowing on the small flames and dominoes set up for change that's going to be happening, 2, 3, 4 weeks down the line. And then by that time, you guys, you'll be joining us here next Tuesday, and we will be able to tell you what to expect for the following 7 days. Or you'll be a part of the Gypsy Tribe at paranormalsarah.com, and you'll know the day by day. Or you'll go and check out Matt and get a reading. Matt, how can they get a hold of you for like an astrological reading? Some people are already like, yeah, I got to get one.
Yeah, I got to set up a regular Facebook page for us on this for the Astrology and Alchemy. But until then, you can either look me up at mslozer@yahoo.com or look me up on Facebook. Some of you have already friended me on there, and thank you, Sarah, for adding that in there. And I'd be happy to work with you. Been helping out, working with some folks off this show already, so I've been happy to do that all. And I was just going to add, and I'm not saying this is like, I just, after I mentioned it, I still feel strong on this, and I hope this is wrong. So I hope I look like an idiot next week. But I'm really getting this strong nagging feeling there will be some celebrity overdose death between Thursday and Saturday. I hope I'm wrong, but that just feels, when I said that, that just feels like that's going to happen. Hope I'm wrong. You guys can all make, well, I guess we all hope that that's wrong, but that's just kind of make predictions. That's the one that feels like the strongest to me when we were talking, that, yeah, there's going to be some profile like overdose death.
Man, I'm going to speak. I don't usually speak things because, and it's not about being right or wrong so much as I don't ever want to carry the guilty burden of if you're right. Right. And that's kind of,
like, I don't feel like I'm saying that me saying it's going to make it happen. I just feel like, or there's going to be some like death by misadventure, like some like, like James Dean, like cracking up a car. So like, there's going to be something I just get the strong feeling that there's going to be something like that.
What if I have my ideas? I'm going to say like, do you see how I struggled like out of it? Yeah. Speaking it, I see someone like Ozzy Osbourne, or like, what if Marilyn Manson and all of this kind of craziness that's going down, and like some of the child pedophilia rings and weird talks of stressful spaces. I'm seeing it being someone who's tied to the news, but not directly, but kind of directly. Like, they're more connected, the Osborne family, than I think I care to admit into media. Yeah. I feel like I would agree with you. And I feel like there's going to be something in that realm. Like, it's going to be a musical person that has dark hair and it's going to be masculine. So I'm going to say that just intuitively, but who the heck knows? You guys, if you have thoughts on what's going to happen, what are you thinking?
I was just say totally different thing here, and I might be late to this part because my son just shared this with me today. So Caitlyn Jenner running for the governor of California is absolutely Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius energy.
Jupiter and Saturn and Aquarius. Oh yeah. You like those rules? Let's change those rules up completely. Let's do something completely what you wouldn't expect, and then add smoked salt on that fire.
Yep. That is the best example I can come up with of that combo in Aquarius, is just that on so many levels.
Man, that's so true. And you're absolutely right. That's so true. Gosh, who knows how that'll pan out? That might be something that we see kind of happening in I don't know when the Aquarius things.
I think they'll transition out, but if both planets were in Aquarius, I would put money on that. As unlikely as it sounds, I would say that she would likely win. but those planets aren't going to be in those signs when the election comes, so that's probably not going to happen. But if that energy was still in place at the time of the election, I think there'd be a good chance that she would win. And I think she froze up again. Either that, or it was so shocking what I said that I locked up Sarah's internet.
Not shocking and ever.
She started to come back there. This is odd now.
Am I talking like a...
Yeah, well, you're kind of breaking in, but your face isn't moving at all. So it's kind of like this like seance-y thing, like hello, I'm out there. Yeah, so I'll get back to it. So yeah, that's that energy that I just wanted to share. And so she was saying somebody with dark hair. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm just thinking with that energy and all the kind of things that are lined up. The other thing I'll quick say as we're doing filler here. Nope, I think that's the key thing. All I have to say is filler. If I say that I'm actually just filling in, you always come back. So I'll try to do that right away. Yeah, I'll try to do that right away. Maybe that's some kind of key in the matrix.
That's the key in the matrix. Okay, I don't know what it is, but we're going to count our blessings. It's 10 o'clock. We made it, and we did the whole week for you guys. If you have any questions, you know where to find us. And of course, we hope to see you next Tuesday, every Tuesday. If you guys know someone who's interested in astrology or you want to know more, check us out with Astrology and Alchemy with Sarah and Matt every Tuesday, guys, at 9 p.m. Central. We're here. So you know where to find us. And thank you so much for joining us and for hanging in there, being patient with my internet. What a poopy thing. I apologize. Who knows what's going on? I don't know what it is. But yeah, you guys, hope you have a great week. Matt, anything you need to throw in there? What do you think?
Yeah, I just hope everybody has a great week. Again, this looks like a good week. I'll keep saying that the energy is going to shift. I was going to add really quick. We'll get into the alchemy more. But the other thing to look at is where like a lot of the planets fall. Like there's just a lot of air energy right now. So just keep that in mind. That is just very vocal, very extroverted, very loud. So you're going to see a lot of that, and we're going to see a lot moving into Gemini. So that's going to get worse. So enjoy the indulgence. Don't enjoy it too much. Don't get yourself in trouble. But enjoy it right now because it's going to become much more extroverted and much more energetic in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, know your limits. Be aware other people pushing theirs, and just kind of hang in there. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday here on the Paranormal channel. Bye-bye, guys.